Yo, what's up, beautiful souls? What's up, beautiful souls? Listen to me. Yo, so I'm leaving the gym and something told me to, you know, look at some news. So as I'm looking at the news, I see that a young high schooler went into an elementary school, okay, and killed 18 people plus. Okay, 18, I believe 16 to 18 of them were children and like 2 or 3 adults. Okay, listen. First fact, I am a real shaman. I do see past, present, and future. So when I get on here and I prophesy and I tell y'all about World War III, and I'm telling y'all about World War III, and I'm telling y'all about this neurological pandemic and this attack on DNA that's attacking the brain because of the poke. I can't say too much because they delete my shit. You know what I'm saying? But it angers me because as a real shaman, a real prophet, people out here following false prophets and people that don't know what they're talking about. I've been telling y'all this for months, if not a year. There is a neurological pandemic that's attacking the DNA and the spirit. It's deeper than the brain. Let's just be clear. Okay? And it all stems from allowing the beast to connect to any piece of you that's vulnerable that he can attach to that could turn you into a killer. And you know what that is? That's childhood trauma. That's pain. That's a lack. That lack that you was unable to heal inside at a core. That's what the beast latches on to. So I've been preaching this for months upon months that it's going to get worse. The prophecy of Nostradamus, the prophecy of Thoth is now. Okay? There is a neurological pandemic that's attacking people that you got to heal from a core spiritual level. Okay? There is no coincidence that shamans are blessed by the utmost highlight God, and we are able to communicate with those of whom you guys are scared of, which are extraterrestrials that are here to protect. They give us this information to protect humanity. But no one is listening. Okay? We've got to do better. We've got to love, love, love. But let's get into this. Sorry, I'm a little aggressive because it's these children, yo. All right. All right. So this is Salvador Ramos. Okay. 14 children and one teacher dead in elementary school shooting. Biden had some new numbers. So I believe it was 18 children and 3 teachers. Okay? So let's be clear about that. This young man literally killed his grandmother first, posted pictures on Instagram. Okay? Drove his car, ditched his car, and then went to an elementary school. Spirit said he did not go to his high school because he knew that there would be security and he would have to get through people, right? But see, in an elementary school, you don't expect something like this to happen. For example, a subway. People are doing things like this in places where they know people's guards are down, okay? Shooter kills 14, elementary school. These are 4th graders, okay? This man killed 14 plus first graders, okay? Killed his grandmother first. Okay, if this neurological pandemic that I'm speaking on is facts. I'm not a false prophet. I am a real prophet. I've been speaking this for months. This neurological pandemic is driving people crazy. Okay? And when the beast, excuse me, is able to leash on to anyone with a lack mentality of pain, of abuse, of not having parents around like this young man right here, of feeling left out or being abused, the beast was able to attach to him and cause him to act out of character. Okay? Live updates. We have at President Biden says after 19 killed at Texas elementary school, the dead include 18 students and a teacher. It was the deadliest school shooting since the 2012 massacre in Newton, Connecticut. Okay? Unacceptable. And you know what? No one wants to talk about these ate up parents is having these kids. Don't have kids if you don't want them. Okay? Don't have children if you don't want them. Because you know what's going to happen? They're going to grow up with a lack mentality and pain, and hurt people. Then they get out here in society and they're killing people's children because you're too lazy to be a parent. Because you chose to have a baby and a child and failed to teach them spiritual, moral integrity and how to love. This is this young man again. That's all pain that's in this young man. Pain. Because at the age of which he shot them kids, he didn't have love. He didn't have no one to show him a mother, father example. They palmed him off on his grandmother. So here he go, looking at these children with these loving families and love, and the beast was able to latch on to that place of lack and turn this young man into a killer because of this time of revelations. If you haven't seeked a shaman, you need to seek a shaman now to cleanse that place of lack. Look at the pain in this young man's face, in his soul, that the beast was able to latch onto and turn this young man into a killer, of which he wasn't. Because of lack of love, because some parents had him and then discarded him emotionally, okay? So now other children are affected. He didn't go rub his bad energy off on nobody and teach somebody how to smoke a cigarette. You know what he did? He went and killed 14 plus fourth graders. Because parents want to get out here and have children and don't raise them with love and light and God. They did not raise this young man with love, light, and God and pawned him onto his grandmother so the beast could take advantage of him and use him in a mass shooting during this time of revelations, per Master Shaman Josh Sterling. I bet y'all gonna listen now. 6 months plus, I've been prophesying about this neurological pandemic and the pain on humanity that is causing people to become killers. Deadly shooting at Texas elementary school. Border Patrol agents faced gunfire, put themselves between the shooter and the children, DHS says. From CNN, Priscilla Alvarez. Border Patrol agents who responded to the deadly school shooting in Texas entered the school building and faced gunfire from the subject, who was barricaded inside, according to a DHS spokesperson. Robb Elementary School, this is where this took place, okay? There is no way he should even made it to kill that many students. But humanity got to learn. Y'all not loving on each other. Y'all not even teaching y'all kids how to love each other. Hurt people hurt people. And these substances, you want to put, you got the drugs out here in the streets that's driving people crazy, but let's not stop there. What about these prescription meds where y'all classifying people as ADD, ADHD, and this and that? Y'all giving them these meds that they mix it with other prescription type marijuanas, and it's driving them insane. You understand what I'm saying? So you have a combination of medical marijuana with a combination of psych drugs that you get from a regular doctor. They're both drugs. Okay? They're both drugs. And they're driving these kids crazy. And he had a lack mentality because he was lacking love. He was lacking that love. He didn't get that love when he was a fourth grader. It was a lack childhood trauma situation where no one paid attention to this young man. Society is to blame for this. And this is going to keep happening until society learns to love each other with the love, light, and unity, and teach it it starts at home. Beautiful souls. 18 children and a teacher are killed in Texas elementary school shooting, authorities say. Uvalde, Texas, a gunman killed at least 18 children and a teacher on Tuesday in a rural Texas elementary school, officials said, and in the deadliest American school shooting since the massacre of Sandy Hook Elementary a decade ago. The slayings took place just before noon at Robb Elementary School, where second through fourth graders in Uvalde, a small city west of San Antonio, were preparing to start summer break this week. The gunman, whom the authorities identified as an 18-year-old man who had attended a nearby high school, was armed with several weapons, officials said. He died at the scene. They said the 12 knocked him out, of course, as they should have, right? He was also bullied. He was handling self-identity issues. He didn't have family support, as you know. Again, I like to speak on people having children and not loving on their children, leaving them with their grandmothers or leaving them without a divine mother and father figure to give them that balance of love. So then he's out here being bullied, mistreated, don't know if he coming or going. You feel me? Posting stuff on Instagram with weapons. Nobody that loved him enough to check. If they loved him enough to check, we might have been able to nip it at the butt with some love. But no, right? Unacceptable. The gunman, whom the authorities identified as an 18-year-old, he shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly, Governor Greg Abbott said in a news conference. Okay? Look at these parents. Second to fourth grade children murdered. They get a call to go pick up their baby from either a morgue, because what they're saying is these children were killed. You get what I'm saying? Could you imagine a call like that? Well, we got security at high schools, but what about them elementary schools? Because he knew what Spirit is saying. He knew that if he went to an elementary school, they wouldn't be as guarded as a high school, because they would have took him down. You feel me? But I want to tackle this issue, this pandemic, this neurological pandemic that I prophesied for months about these killings and murders. I've warned humanity about these things. Listen, if you don't nurture your spirit, if you don't go to a shaman and release those entities that you don't even see, you understand what I'm saying? If you don't go heal those in that childhood trauma that you have not healed yet, this is what could happen. If you don't heal that karma before having children, because your children take on the karma, you feel what I'm saying? And that mental illness is hereditary. Let's be clear. Mental illness is real and it's hereditary. And without true spiritual guidance from someone like a shaman and a real prophet, this happens because people have lost their way of the shaman and true love and unity. Love, light, and unity. There's no having children and not loving them. You don't have that option. They left this young man without love, unloved, so he chose to go take life into his own hands. This is a lesson for all of humanity. Before you go have kids, you make sure you made a plan to love on that baby unconditionally. You make sure you made a plan to love him. This hurt person, hurt people. Because he didn't have a childhood, he went to go take that from other parents. Hurt people. He killed his grandmother, then went to go handle his business at this elementary school. For what? Because parents want to have children and then shit on their kids. And then when your kids become a serial killer or kill themselves, you're shocked or you surprised, and it's your fault. Because God gave you a mission to protect this soul. And this is what happens during this neurological pandemic on the DNA. There's an attack on DNA. Let's be clear. Mark my words. And because he was lacking from a place of lack, the beast attached to him and turned him into a killer. I bet you he didn't even know what he was doing. But because he was hurt and because people were supposed to protect him and didn't love him, he took everybody else's babies from them. He took everybody's babies from them. Because somebody didn't want to raise their baby right. He didn't know who God was. He didn't know what real love was. He didn't know what true love from a parent was. So because he was unhealed and a lack mentality, he wanted to take that from everyone else. As terrified parents in Uvalde late Tuesday waited for word of their children's safety, and law enforcement officials raced to piece together how the massacre had transpired, the mass shooting was deepeningly a national political debate over gun laws and the prevalence of weapons. 10 days earlier, a gunman fatally shot 10 people inside a Buffalo grocery store. A neurological, I'm going to say this again. There is an attack on DNA through, y'all know, I can't say it. Okay? It's a neurological pandemic. And it's causing the mind to glitch. Okay? I'm shaking because I'm upset because nobody's listening. To glitch. And when the brain glitches, it causes a spiritual, you're going through a spiritual fuck. A dark night of the soul. Because people can't handle their spirit. That's what this neurological attack on DNA is doing. It's challenging your spirit. And it's a thin line between murderer, a doctor, a serial killer, and a psychiatrist. Listen. All it takes is a little bit to drive them crazy. You understand what I'm saying? And this neurological pandemic, people's fears, because a real spiritual person of God don't hold fear. But everyone that has a fear in their heart, the beast is going to latch onto it and draw it out and make it seem worse than what it is. And now you out here killing people because of this childhood pain and lack that you was unable to heal. And that's why, as a shaman, my job is to heal childhood trauma and teach humanity how to love, use righteous judgment. I don't care if it's not your child. You show them love. You might have kept somebody from not being a serial killer. It's plenty of people that loved on me growing up. Okay, so it could have been a thin line for me. But people loved me that didn't even know me. He didn't have the love. No one loved this young man. I'm not saying he's not right. And they justifiably shot him and killed him. However, who didn't love this young man? He was still an 18-year-old young man that because he was hurt, took everybody's babies from them. Unacceptable. Now, 10 people inside a Buffalo supermarket was also shot because of this fear. He was fear of this racial inequality of the race being exaggerated by brown skin. You know, evolution is evolution, but ignorance is bliss. And some people because of what humanity has taught, people can't heal. Okay? So now you got a person that never had parents, so he's going to kill every kid that has loving parents. Do you see where I'm going with this? So this neurological pandemic is latching onto that lack and making it worse to where they're going deranged and manic. This is just evil, Ray Chapa. And Uvalde resident said of Tuesday's killings while using an expletive. Sorry. Mr. Chapa said his nephew was in a school when the shooting took place, but was safe. He was waiting to hear back from the relatives and friends of the conditions of other children, scrolling through Facebook for updates. I'm afraid I'm going to know a lot of these kids that were killed. So let's be clear. The police are handling things very particularly where they need a breath. This is intense for the police. And what Spirit has said is that they need to give it a day or two to handle what is going on. Like they're going through, everybody's going to go. This is 2nd to 4th grade kids murdered because of somebody's damaged child. Let's be clear. Somebody's unloved, damaged child when it took other people's babies from them. Y'all stop having fucking kids if you don't want to love them. I'm sorry to get upset because people out here having kids, not using condoms, spreading diseases, and then you got kids out here staying with their grandmas because you don't want to raise them, and then the grandma dead, and then they're going to take everybody else's child from them because they didn't have no parents. But y'all want to sit out here, fuck, and have kids and not use spiritual moral integrity. Excuse my language. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. So this man took everybody's baby from them. Everybody's baby from them. So I'm a little bit passionate right now, you know, because these are young souls, fresh souls. And as above, so below. So as a shaman, you know, humanity only see murders. They only see a crazy deranged ass murder. But let's be clear, these were sacrifices. So now the beast, this ignorant ass beast ass nigga, excuse my language, has now been fed 18 plus souls because of ignorant ass people having children and not raising them right. So now we got young souls that had a chance, and now they're going, look at, this is somebody's little sister. They're just grieving. Across the street from the school on Tuesday evening, state troopers were scattered across lawn, and an ambulance idled with its lights flashing. Adolfo Hernandez, a longtime Uvalde resident, said his nephew had been in a classroom near where the shooting took place. He accidentally witnessed his little friend get shot in the face. Mr. Hernandez said the friend, he said, got shot in the nose and he just went down. Ugh. And my nephew was devastated. That baby watched somebody get shot in the nose and the face, and his friend. Now the beast done started a seed of dysfunction. He done planted a seed of dysfunction. So hopefully this young man grows up with love and able to heal from this trauma that he just seen. He just seen his young friend get shot in the face. And now at this young, tender age, now he's got to heal from trauma that he didn't have to go through if somebody was a good parent and loved on their baby. You understand what I'm saying? Love go a long way. If somebody would have loved that young man before this, he wouldn't have killed his grandmother and he wouldn't have went on a killing spree. So we need to lock them parents up too, wherever they at. Just saying. In a brief address from the White House on Tuesday night, President Biden grew emotional as he reflected on the massacre and called for action, but did not advocate for a particular policy or vote. Okay, Biden's wife is a teacher, so of course this is gonna hit something. You know, I know she's going through it, so I send love to her. The gun laws, we won't be able to defend the country with gun laws, and then people won't be able to defend themselves because all this craziness going on. You feel me? So the gun laws is a hard one because people have a right to defend themselves. However, mental illness is what we need to focus on. Spreading love, light, and unity and not division is what we need to focus on. Focusing on these kids in bad households, abusive, mentally altering, abusive households. DPS, I just did a case the other day where DPS took one child, but then she had two young kids and she done shot the babies in the back of the neck. But after the one child that was 14 was taken from her. Come on. Come on. It's just sick, he said, of the sorts of weapons that are easily available in the United States and used in mass shootings, where in God's name, our backbone, the courage to do more and then stand up to the lobbies. It's time to turn this pain into action. Okay, again, we're going to turn this pain into action. We do need more gun laws. However, people are not going to feel they need to defend themselves. And without people loving, sending love, light, and unity to each other, no side eyes, righteous judgment, not judgment. There's a difference. Okay? Loving your brethren and not judging them first because of what they have on, their skin color. When we get through this barrier, because humanity is in the wrong, as a shaman, God is not pleased by the corporation. For those of you that know about the corporation and how everything's been planned out amongst the world and controlled, it's the false, wrong narrative. Okay? Let's be clear, if this was the way of the shaman, the way of my ancestors, our ancestors, the Native Americans and any other tribes, and we was living off the land and loving on each other, you wouldn't have this problem. Because somebody would have loved on him. Excuse me. Mr. Biden later added, "May the Lord be near the brokenhearted and save those crushed in spirit because they're going to need a lot." Okay, there is a war in Ukraine and Russia, but there is a war everywhere. There's famine in Africa. There's people going hungry in Africa. No water, no food. You out here, you got national disasters. There's fires in California. There's floods along the coast. And you got all these murders going on right now. Again, my name is Shaman Josh Starling. I am a prophet, and I prophesied this months ago. But no one is listening, my beautiful souls. No one is listening to me. I see past, present, and future, and I prophesied things were going to get worse. Okay? We need to look at these prophecies like the prophecy of Thoth, the prophecy of Hermes, and the prophecies of Nostradamus, who spoke on World War III. Because that's what God gave to me to prophesy. To sister and echo that prophecy in entirety. Of course, me and Thoth have a close bond because that's who I was in a past life. So that's why I stand for love, light, and unity and being one with God. We got to love on each other. There's no other way to stop this than to love on each other. And don't bring kids into this world if you're not going to love on them, because you're going to create a killer. The shooting took place on election day in Texas. Okay. There's no coincidences. As voters across the state headed to polls for primary runoffs that would set the stage for the November election at the time when the state and the nation have been risen by political disagreements over race, immigration, and abortion. So I'm gonna tell y'all how God works. As y'all see, Texas got the most corrupted government. What a coincidence, energy-wise. Now, there's been a mass shooting in the same corrupted ass state that has this gray area about stuff that should be non-negotiable. You understand what I'm saying? The energy not right. The energy is completely not right, but nobody's paying attention. Okay? I do these cases and I investigate these murders, and there's a lot going on in Texas. Now that I think about it. And I'm going to tell you, most states that got the most murders and the most spiritually are damned. So people might need to start moving. The energy is tainted. It's bad. Because a lot of this land is sacred land that was taken from Native Americans and it have been cursed. Okay? It's cursed. Because nobody's supposed to be there. But the people that are there have lost their way. So these entities can attach easily to this place of lack. Follow me now. I'm the truth. I got receipts. Holla at me. Okay? As the Daily Toll became known, the events at Robb Elementary School immediately brought forth wrenching memories of the devastating 2012 shooting at Sandy Hook, Newton, Connecticut. First of all, let's stop referencing all these little... There's more stuff going on than that one devastating murder. Let's look at everything as a whole. Please, beautiful souls. It's a lot going on right now. And we got to fix the core of who we are. So, left 6 staff members and 20 children dead. See, the toll is going up. See, whoever's reporting the news is not reporting because it's going to be devastating when y'all find out it's been 24. See, I went from 16 and I've been researching. I went to 16 to 18 to 20. Okay? Some as young as 6 years old were murdered. And again, let me say this, because people want to just be having damn kids and not loving on them appropriately. It's a thin line between a doctor and a serial killer. And you know what the common denominator is? Love. Love. These are some police officers that showed up, you know what I'm saying? To show love and respect. Let me put this man back up here. Listen. The man was shot. He was killed. You feel me? But my job as a shaman is to get to the spiritual part of this. Okay? As I connected to this young man, he was dealing with absent parents. He was dealing with identity issues. He was dealing with being bullied. He was completely unhappy, unloved, and more. He was lacking something that nobody chose to see. He had signs that were on Instagram that if he was loved and people were looking out for him, they would have seen the red flags. Okay? He was being taken care of by his grandmother. Okay? His grandmother was killed first. Okay? She was stressing him out because she didn't even want to take care of him. She's the grandmother. She didn't have him. You understand what I'm saying? So because he didn't have parents, when he was that age, between 6 and whatnot, or what have you, that internalized in him. So you know what he went to go do? Fill that void. And the beast was attached to him and turned him into a killer. Because of lack of love. That's it. It's lack of unity, peace, and oneness. People all want to go kill people because nobody want to learn how to love. Nobody want to learn how to use righteous judgment. There was people that was there for me when I had nobody that wasn't even my parents. Nobody looked out for this young man to where he felt he needs to go hurt people. Not to say he wasn't wrong. They did what they needed to do. You know, they did what they needed to do. But did it have to go there? We're not paying attention to mental illness awareness. Okay? We want to tell a woman she can't have abortions, but letting niggas just go nutting girls and just have a whole bunch of kids. When this young man needed his daddy to get him together. Hurt people. And that's what this nation is built on. A lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, and nobody is seeking the shaman like myself to free that childhood trauma and heal the soul plexus. So this is what we're going to have, because people want to go to the pew, and once a person talking about they want to kill somebody, the pastor ain't going to do nothing. Because the shaman is the one that could exorcise demons out of person. Let me tell you how I know. I could remove demons and curses and childhood trauma and family curses from people. I literally could have healed this young man before he did some shit like that. But you know what? No one loved him enough. And now he took people's children from them. He hurt a nation. He bruised humanity. He fed the beast. He sacrificed 18 plus young souls because somebody chose to have him and not love him. Congratulations. I hope y'all happy. How many more kids in Texas half-ass being raised, unbalanced, mentally ill, on these bootleg pharmacy drugs, smoking this medical marijuana, as not have matured emotionally, because you got to be 25 before your brain matures as an adult. 25. So people out here smoking this medical marijuana, they got these, putting their kids on these pills, and then you got absent-ass fathers that don't want to be a father, and mothers leaving their baby with the grandmother, and she nowhere. So the man lost his mind and chose to take kids from their parents because he was impatient. Now it's the time of the shaman, because we could remove the curse and the pain of the heart. I can put my hands on him and remove that. That hurts my heart that I could have stopped this man, but I'm not in his city. You know why? Because as a shaman, we got to go through an amount of pain. God makes sure that we have to die first before we're able to be reborn with our crown. Let's be clear. So whatever pain he was going through, a shaman could have healed him. And when that entity attacks, that demon, that's nothing but a sacrifice, as above, so below. That was a sacrifice to the beast during this time of Revelations. Let's be clear. So just like y'all seeing these UFOs in the sky, they talk to me all the time. But now ain't nobody gonna listen to me in my prophecies or listen to me saying that I talk to they tell me everything. The same stuff I've been prophesying to y'all, they tell me and protect me. Just like they've been protecting humanity. And that's why y'all starting to see them on the news, because of all this stuff going on, because it's unacceptable. And y'all don't want the high council to get involved. Y'all want to deal with the shamans and the healers to get this stuff straight. We got to do better. We cannot be having kids and not loving on them. If it's not a divine union, and y'all not in love, and y'all don't want to spend the rest of y'all life together, good or bad, do not have no damn kids. Because the kids are going great, and it ain't even about race. He's Hispanic. There's a black dude that shot up the church. A white dude shot up the Buffalo. So I want to hear about that race shit. Crazy is just crazy. Love, a lack of love is a lack of love, regardless of who you are. Stop talking about who is not and who is, and just love. And then when you get home with your pillow talk, just like your sex talk, you hype yourself up and tell you the best thing popping. But now is not the time to get out in society and telling people who they are not, who is superior than who, and who deserve this. And now is not the time for that shit. Now is the time to love unconditionally, righteous judgment, spiritual, moral, and I'm spitting, spiritual, moral integrity. Unity is the key to a higher conscious humanity. And I'm going to say this again. Y'all seeing these extraterrestrials popping up? Let's be real. They talk to me. It's in my DNA, if you want to be real. That's why I'm a shaman. But nobody, again, look at my videos from back. I've been prophesying what is going to happen. I prophesied on World War III, on Putin, what he was going to do, his mental state. I prophesied all of that. I'm the truth. And I will not shut up until I'm heard about this pain and dysfunction that is turning people into killers or making them kill themselves when they can have a chance to serve God. All that energy that it took to do all of that, he could have served God with that love and just loved on 18 people. But because hurt people decided to have children for no fucking reason, and didn't want to love them, excuse my language, the appropriate way, as God loved them. As you want to love a child the way that God loved you. Well, I don't understand why people want to have kids and not love their kids the way that God wanted them to. I don't understand that. And this is what happens. Buffalo is what happens. Okay? Brooklyn is what happens when you don't have love and unity in your household. When you just have kids and you just don't love on them as they deserve to be loved. And you want to have kids and then leave them with your grandparents because it's easier on you. And not a grandmother dead. Unacceptable. We need better fathers. We need better mothers. And if you get married and you take an oath, what's that, vows? You take an oath, vows, whatever, stick to it. Because only a week, you better read the Lord's Prayer. Okay? And if it's not for you, don't have no damn kids. Give it a time frame. Because this is what happened. People out here having babies, and they don't even love themselves. People having babies, and you don't even love yourself. Now you got kids out here. This is it. And because he was lacking love and went through this pain, between them, you see how the mind works? What Spirit said is that he killed them kids out of jealousy, envy. You see that envy, jealousy shit is getting out of control. I'm telling you, hit your shamans up, learn how to protect your soul, because his soul was vulnerable because of the shit he been through. Excuse my language, I'm cussing. His soul was vulnerable because of the pain his family put him through. And because his family, quote unquote, sacrificed him to the beast, you know what he did? He went and made sure that they seen him. Unfortunately. Now everybody missing a baby. Now is the time for the righteous. Y'all half-ass parents raising these kids that's going into society and spreading your dysfunction and immorality to humanity and taking people's babies. Y'all need to be shot, not these innocent children. I'm gonna say y'all ass need to be shot, not these innocent children. Because y'all raised the killer. All y'all had to do was love him. Man, you know what? Again, I can sit here all day tell you I'm a shaman, woo wham. I talk to the dead. I see past, present, and future. I'm an oracle, woo woo wham. I'm a healer. I am him, by the way. I don't need to convince nobody, and I'm not here for clout. I have a job to do. I'll be taken care of regardless. Uh, and nobody's gonna take me off my throne or none of that. So I will be heard. Okay, for 6 months plus, I've been telling y'all about this neurological pandemic attacking people at their core, childhood trauma and stuff. This neurological pandemic is attacking to the lack of what you have not healed from. And whatever you have not healed from, the beast is exasperating, I don't know if that's the word, and turning it into a major anxiety. So now you're out here killing people and you're scared and you're operating in a place of fear. You understand what I'm saying? Shit's getting worse. World War III will happen at some capacity. And this is to go into the new world. Again, now is the time not to just be having a whole bunch of damn babies like Nick Cannon. When you cannot even be in all the houses with these kids. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be in the house with these kids and be a responsible father and expect to raise someone not to be immoral. A household needs both parents. They're not the grandmother because she didn't have the baby, right? So we got to stop these dysfunctional, immoral things that have been imposed on humanity since the nation and the corporation has been in motion to control the masses and to allow people to sacrifice for the beast. The corporation is the beast. Let's be extremely clear here. It's the matrix. And majority of people are in the matrix. That's why they're going crazy. Shamans aren't in the matrix. So we just on the outside looking like, what? This sacrifice was out of control. The beast is thirsty, as I've been saying for a year. The beast is thirsty and dying. So now he got a war feeding him. He got wars, he got murders, he got mass shootings. Y'all think this is like, this is normal? Like, nobody's listening to us. Nobody's listening to me. Check out my footage. Check out my receipts. I'm the truth, bro. We got to start somewhere. And you know where we got to start? We have got to start with love. If you see a child out there that has not eaten, just need you to pray with them or love with them, you do that. Because that one child that you loved on and you told them that they were special, you might have stopped them from going somewhere and hurting a whole bunch of children. And many times I could have slept and slipped into a victim mentality and could have either hurt myself or hurt somebody else, believe me. Okay? But because I knew God and it was people that loved on me, I seen love in some capacity. You understand what I'm saying? Which was a blessing for me. Because I have a brother that tried to kill himself multiple times. I have no siblings that I could sit here and be like, you know what? Unfortunately, and unfortunately, if it's not for you, you got to separate yourself, beautiful souls, because people will want to turn you into a killer or a hater. The only way to kill hate is love. You don't have to know them to love them. You don't have to know them to wish them well. You don't have to identify with them to love them. You don't have to identify with them to wish them well. Someone should have took that young man under his wing, knowing his family wasn't really there for him and he was lacking. Childhood trauma hurt him and hurt 18 children. It took 18 children from their families. So I want to burn some sage. And I want to say the Lord's Prayer for these beautiful souls, if that's okay. That's unacceptable. Hurt people hurt people. Do not have no children if you're not going to be able to love them and turn them into a productive member of society. It's a thin line between a murder and a doctor and a serial killer. And you know what the common denominator is? Again, love. Okay? Let me burn some sage. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever, ever. Amen. Please allow these souls to go into the light with no issues and no problems, so that they can come back with love. Okay, so they can see their parents again. I send a prayer to humanity, to the earth. We got to love on each other. We got to love on our children. We got to use spiritual moral integrity. We got to love. We got to use righteous judgment and not judgment, oh God. I pray that humanity sees the error in their ways. As you said in scripture and in prophecy, the destruction of men was because of the hardness of their hearts. Destruction of men will be because of the hardness of their hearts and because they lost the way of the shaman. When the way of the shaman, we are the link to God. But you guys are going to see one way or another. In your name we pray. Y'all lift these souls up, light a white candle tonight for these young souls that were taken, that were sacrificed, as above, so below. And to keep this on a spiritual note. Don't get out here having no children and you can't give them the love they need to be a productive member of society. Teach them to go out here and love. Okay? Y'all, love y'all, yo. And thank you for y'all support, man. Love. Rest easy. Beautiful souls. Learn from that young man. That could be your child. Love on your children, so they don't start serving the beast, or they don't kill themselves or kill somebody else. Love is the common denominator. You are more than a conqueror. You are victorious. You are more than inadequate. You are victorious. I mean, you are more than inadequate. You are necessary. Have a beautiful night.